Welcome back to the program. My next guest used to be a regular contributor on this program until he was called by Donald Trump to serve in the new administration as the ambassador to Canada. Pete Hoekstra, a longtime lawmaker, a former House Intelligence Committee chair, and a longtime friend of this program, finally able to come back on. Glad that he can. Pete, nice to see you again.
Always good to be with you. Thanks, Steve.
Never a dull moment. Right now, the president is touring, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, working deals and trying to put in good trade deals as well. He's doing that with China. The tariffs there put on hold. The tariffs in other places put on hold. One of the biggest, most contentious tariff issues, it was where you are now. Canada, first of all, congratulations on the new position. Congratulations on your confirmation. But a lot of work to do. A brand new prime minister in Canada, Mark Carney, is now head of state there. And he had some tough things to say about Donald Trump until he met in person. And then he softened his stance. Look, Canada's a big part of who we are. And it's a big job for you, isn't it?
It's a great job, Steve. I'm thrilled that Donald Trump asked me to represent him and represent the United States in Canada. It is a big job. I mean, I've been in Canada now for 2 weeks. We spent 2 days in Washington last week when Carney and the president got together. I thought it was a very productive meeting between the two of them. Most of the meeting, of course, was held at lunch, where there were 14 potted plants sitting around the table as we observed and watched what the president and the prime minister had to talk about. It was a very substantive discussion. It was also a very good lunch for the rest of us. So it was good to be there. And then, this past week, I spent 2 days in Washington for a program called Select USA, which is the United States and 50 states making a pitch to investors around the world to invest in the United States of America. And that was a great couple of days. I had an opportunity to meet with dozens of Canadian businesses who are talking about the business they already do in the United States, but also about potentially expanding their footprint in the United States of America.
You're used to representing Michigan when you go out there on the stage, but now you're representing all of America when it comes to investment and what happens between the United States and Canada. So what about these tariffs? Obviously, they were an issue, and then Donald Trump, of course, calling Canada the 51st state. Now, having said all that, Mark Carney was elected by the Progressive Party there in Canada, but Danielle Smith out in Alberta said, look, we'll hold a referendum on leaving Canada come next year if they get the signatures. There's some things that they would have to go through for that to happen. So there's still some upheaval in Canada. You come into this job at a very interesting time, to say the least, don't you?
No, it's a fascinating time, but we'll get a lot more clarity in a couple of weeks. We're not getting it right now. Obviously, we saw some of the things that the president and the prime minister discussed, and we got a hint as to where they were going, but the president and the prime minister have decided not to share much of that publicly at this point in time. The prime minister just put together his cabinet this week. They have what is called a speech from the throne, which happens towards the end of this month. I think it's the Tuesday after Memorial Day. But the speech from the throne, it'll be King Charles will be here. He will read the speech that is provided to him by Mark Carney and the Liberal Party, and it lays out their agenda, what they want Parliament to do over the coming months. And at that point in time, I think we'll get a lot more clarity as to we've moved beyond the campaign, we've moved beyond a transition period. Here is what Canada is willing to do, in this relationship to get us back on the right track.
It's a fair point you make there. Look, Donald Trump said plenty of things on the campaign trail, trying to win an election. He did. Mark Carney has said plenty on his way to becoming the next prime minister. That's the nature of political campaigns. You say some things, but once you get into office, maybe they're not exactly the way things turn out. Pete, you've been through a number of these things yourself. You know that full well. But some of the things that I think concern people here with Mark Carney, his pursuit of net zero, his pursuit of climate initiatives that would limit the use of oil and natural gas and shale. And some of those things obviously benefit your home state of Michigan. They benefit the United States. And that's one of the things that's going to have to be figured out, isn't it?
It is going to have to be figured out, and that's why I think there's a lot of us that are eagerly anticipating what comes out of the speech from the throne, because this will then be the message and the agenda from Prime Minister Carney. Now, I will take a little bit.
So I want to stop right there. I want you to help us out with it, just to educate us a little bit here. This speech from the throne with King Charles.
Right.
Obviously, it's a figurehead position, being the king of England and the Commonwealth of Canada, but how much weight does it carry?
Oh, it carries it. Assuming it is exactly what happens in the Netherlands, it carries a tremendous amount of weight. This is not the King of the Netherlands, in my experience in the Netherlands,
right?
Or in this case now, King Charles coming in, that he's sitting at his desk right now and trying to write a speech that he's going to deliver in Canada in 2 weeks. This is the Liberal Party putting together their platform into a speech, and they will literally, if it's the same as in the Netherlands, they will literally hand it to the king. The king will probably rehearse it, but he will not rehearse it for presentation where it has accent marks and those types of things. He will get, in the Netherlands, what the king would do. He would read the speech in pretty much a monotone, all right? But when you went through the speech, you would see the agenda of the majority party or the ruling coalition in the Netherlands come out in the speech. And I'm assuming that is, from what I've heard, that is exactly what we will see in the speech from the throne.
So basically, they'll recite the progressives. Mark Carney and his team will put in what they want. The king will basically recite it from. That's what I was asking. King Charles isn't going to come over and deliver his edict. It's going to be the progressives and how they see the country going. Okay, so beside some of these issues, one of the deals that I saw with the UK, for example, opened up agricultural markets to American products far more than they have in a long time. That's got to be something that American farmers are hoping for in any new deal when it comes to trade with the Canadians, wouldn't you think?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think the president was very clear. Our Ag Secretary Rollins, they were very clear that, hey, the deal with the UK is good for American farmers, good for American agriculture. So, and I think we've got some concerns with Canada at the same time, whether it's dairy, whether it's wheat, and those kinds of things that are going to have to be resolved in the coming months as we work towards a revised trade agreement with Canada.
Yeah. Pete Hoekstra, the brand new ambassador to the nation of Canada. He's been surrounded by Canada his entire life living in Michigan. We're just glad they didn't invade from Ontario. Pete, congratulations on the new job. Really appreciate you taking time to be here, and hopefully we'll come and see you in Ottawa one of these days, sir. Thank you.
The door is always open, Steve.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Mr. Ambassador, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right. There you have it, the new ambassador and a good friend of the program, Pete Hoekstra, ambassador to Canada. About as big of a job when it comes to diplomacy as you can have, especially with all the changes that are going on with Donald Trump and Mark Carney and all the rest. This is the Steve Gruber Show. We'll be back in just a moment.